Her Journey to Healing, Reaching Women with a Desperate Cry is an 8-week Zoom seminar in which Kamala and Winston help women to start living their best life by rediscovering the image of God in their life. Kamala, a licensed marriage and family therapist, joins her husband of 16 years, an ordained pastor, to marry the clinical and the spiritual. You will begin living your best life filled with love, joy, and peace. Register at KWMinistries.net for this life-changing seminar.
God is patient. God is kind. God is long-suffering. God never fails. God always hopes. God always trusts. God always perseveres. God doesn't envy. God doesn't boast. God doesn't seek his own, but is always seeking what's best for you. God rejoices in the truth.
That's right.
God doesn't define love. God demonstrates love. Hello, my name is Winston Taylor.
And I'm Kamala Glenn Taylor.
We would like to welcome you to our first episode of Her Journey to Healing, Reaching Women with a Desperate Cry. Oh, that I know the exact definition of love.
I think for a lot of us that our definitions of love don't just start when we're adults. So if you think about it, where did you first learn to love? Who'd you learn it from? What were the models that you had? Who were the people that you followed along with, and who taught you how to love? And that's where we start to answer that question.
I think this would be a good journal point if you could write in your journal, where did you learn to love?
So anxious resistant. So remember there were 4 categories, right? So anxious resistant kids were on the opposite end of the spectrum. They didn't have a lot of self-confidence. They really clung to their caregivers, whether it's parents. When I say caregivers, I mean parents, grandparents, just
Whoever's taking
people in
care
their
of them.
lives who were, really part of that initial bonding experience. For these kids, they tended to have really exaggerated emotional reactions to stuff, but they also kept the distance from their peers. How did this translate into adulthood? That translated into anxious, preoccupied adults. And so they kind of formed less secure bonds with partners and feel really desperate for love and affection.
Good evening, everyone. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here with you tonight. I am so elated and excited. I'm praying that everyone has had a great week, a wonderful week, and we're just excited to be here. My partner is not here right now, Kamala Glenn Taylor, but she will be joining us in a matter of moments. We are KWMinistries, Kamala and Winston Ministries. And our mission is to reach people with a desperate cry. It's Monday night, so it's KWMinistries. We invite you to visit our website. Won't you go over to www.kwministries.net. Over there, you will find a host, a variety of materials, a variety of stuff. You can find our devotionals. You can find The Journey Begins. In The Journey Begins, we explore developing a relationship with God. And the whole point of The Journey Begins is that God unconditionally loves you. You can find a spirit journey through spiritual warfare. This little book is powerful. Let me say it again. This little book is powerful. A journey through spiritual warfare. The point, this book actually exposes the devil, exposes his trick, and it invites you not to defend yourself against him, but to go on the attack. Oh, you didn't hear me. And then a journey with Jesus through Revelation. A journey through Revelation. Look, it's Jesus. A journey through Revelation. Look, it's Jesus. You don't want to miss this devotional. This devotional comes from the book of Revelation, and it's revelation like you have never read it before. It's a revelation where you see Jesus on every single page. We invite you to get your copy. And then our latest devotional is A Journey with Jesus through the Gospel of John. And this devotional helps to build your faith in Jesus. That's the whole point of the Gospel of John, to build your faith in Jesus. We would like to welcome you this evening. We are so grateful that you could join us. And oh, do we have a program. I see Jennifer hanging out with us. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so grateful to have you. I see Mr. Molly hanging out with us. Welcome, Mr. Molly. We're grateful to have you. We're so grateful to have all of you that are visiting. We welcome your comments. We welcome your interactions. We welcome all that you will participate in. I believe tonight somebody's going to be delivered. I believe tonight somebody's going to be healed. I believe there's a blessing in store for somebody. And so I'm going to go ahead and get a word of prayer in, and we're going to get started. Our Father and our God, we love you so much. As we have come tonight to celebrate and worship and thank you, we ask that your spirit now would take over. We ask that you'd go through the airways. And we ask, Heavenly Father, that somebody tonight, that there would be some intentionality about setting people free. There'd be some purposefulness about deliverance and breaking yokes and breaking chains and breaking bondages. Tonight, in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Father. It's in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen and amen. Again, we would like to say welcome. We're so excited that you're here. We're grateful. We're grateful. Jennifer says she's looking forward to tonight. I'm looking forward to it also, Jennifer. I'm looking forward to it. Tonight, we have a very special guest, and I did not want to bring him in on his own studio. I wanted for him to come live and sat in studio with us. We have Tony in the studio with us, and we're so excited to have Tony with us. Tony, how are you doing, man?
I'm good today. I'm blessed.
Good stuff, Tony. Now let's just get this conversation going. And like I said, it's gonna be a conversation, man. Okay. Now you and I, we've known each other now for almost 2 years. How did we meet?
I was in prison. You was a chaplain, and I was going to your creation life classes, and we needed a Bible study. So we had a personal Bible study, me and you and 2 other guys, and we would have every Saturday. Sunday morning, yeah. And it was based on the Gospel of John. Yeah. So we had good conversations in that.
All right. So you were in prison. Tell us about that.
Well, I was in prison for 3.5 years. It's a struggle being in prison. It's a struggle. It's a whole lot of demonic things going on in prison. And a lot of people they're afraid to accept the word. They're ashamed of what their friends gonna say, being being judged by whatever's going on around there in the yard or whatever, So to be able to acknowledge Jesus in your life, it takes strength, it takes character to do that in prison.
All right. So Jennifer says, hi, Tony. Listen, let's take a quick break right here, Anna Kay, and we'll come right back and we'll get this conversation going. I believe this is going to be some exciting stuff tonight. Let's take a quick break.
Her Journey to Healing, Reaching Women with a Desperate Cry is an 8-week Zoom seminar in which Kamala and Winston help women to start living their best life by rediscovering the image of God in their life. Kamala, a licensed marriage and family therapist, joins her husband of 16 years, an ordained pastor, to marry the clinical and the spiritual. You will begin living your best life filled with love, joy, and peace. Register at KWMinistries.net for this life-changing seminar.
Welcome back. We are so happy that you could join us. I hope we could hear, because we couldn't hear for a second. Hey, Sister Francis, First Lady Francis, Minister Francis, welcome, ma'am. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We're so grateful to you for being here. So we're here with Tony, and in a second, Kamala is going to be joining us in any second now, and we're excited to have her. Wonderful. All right, so Tony, you were in prison. So let's talk about your life before prison, how you got to prison, and then let's just ease in the stories as we go.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, in a broken home, just me and my mom. And I just took to the streets, like my mom was using drugs, and I had to pretty much take care of myself when I was a young child, so I just the only way I knew to do it was the streets. I always had people tell me what not to do, but I never had people to tell me what exactly to do. But them guys in the streets would tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell you what to do. Don't stand right here. Don't put that over there. They would tell me what to do. You know what I mean? And I really took a grasp of that.
So when you say you took a grasp of that, tell us exactly what you mean.
I mean, I identified myself with the things that I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I really thought that's who I was, and I needed that to define me.
What did you do?
Well, I sold drugs, I sell drugs, rob people, you know what I mean? I did, everything it is to do in the streets. Rob, steal, sell drugs, con people, just about everything.
And so after a while, it caught up with you.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
Okay. Well, like I've been to prison several times, in and out. Because like I said, I didn't have any other identity. I get out, I go home, and I go right back to where I started at. You know what I mean? Growing up in the streets, I built I'm going to say a community of people around me. They all were in the streets. So if I come home from prison, everybody I know is in some type of way dealing in having something to do with something illegal. You know what I mean? So I can just get out and grasp a hold of anything. Like some people sell one type of drug, some people sell another type of drug.
Unmute your mic, Kamala. I'm sorry, Jordan. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
I lived a life where it didn't matter to me about the consequences. I just always, my philosophy was what I stand to gain and what I stand to lose. I made all my decisions based on that.
So Tony, let me tell them exactly what you're saying. You were good at what you did.
Yes.
You were really good at what you did.
I was.
All right. So how did you get caught? What brought all of this to an head?
Well, I was.
I'm gonna stop you right there, Tony. Let's take another break real quick. I'm gonna invite you to Kamala, you're gonna introduce some stuff to us real quick. And then I'm going to invite you to go tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your cousins. We don't want people to miss this experience tonight. This is a really, really, really good stuff. And as you can see, the hour is fast gone. It's 9:10 already. So Kamala, introduce us to some products, and then let's take a quick break and give you a chance to just get your cousin and your uncle and your aunt to come on here. All right, Kamala.
Well, as you guys know, here at KW Ministries, we are all about reaching people with a desperate cry. And what we want to do is, while you are going through your own desperate cry, or you're reaching out to help somebody else get through theirs, we want to give you some reminders of some things that can help you along the way. So one of our first products that I want to kind of showcase for you tonight is our KW Ministries mug. On one side, it says KW Ministries. On the other, it says The Journey to Healing. And I would encourage you to get this mug, not just because it's pretty fancy. It's got a nice little blue inside that I really enjoy. I like those little kind of details. But it's also a reminder, as you're going through your journey, that here's just a kind of a visual cue to say, hey, you know what? I'm on my journey to healing. Another thing that I want to interest you guys in tonight, we've actually got in our store, these are pretty snazzy. These are our t-shirts. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it also says The Journey to Healing, Reaching People with a Desperate Cry. So we've got t-shirts for everybody, all sizes, anything that you need right there in the shop. Not only do we have our mug and our t-shirt, but we also have our KW Ministries tote, also available in the store at a really great price. So we've got lots of products, lots of things that you can check out if you just go straight to the store. As you can see right on the back there, KW Ministries. We are at kwministries.net. If you go straight into the store, what you'll see is a whole host of products that you can enjoy, take home, share with your family, share with your friends, share with your neighbors.
And then, Kamala, I would also like to remind people that right there in the store is The Journey to Healing, 8 coping skills to heal. 8 coping skills to heal. This is written by Kamala Glenn Taylor, professional licensed marriage and family therapist, director of the Ridge Outpatient Services. She kind of knows what she's talking about. And so you want to go over there and grab that book. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Mr. Tony. Amen. All right. So, Tony, how did this all come to a head? You know, you're in the streets. You're good at what you do. You're selling drugs. You're robbing people. You're conning people. How does this all come to a head? Well, so your first time going to prison?
Yeah. I mean, the first time I went to prison, it was for drugs. It was for drugs. It always been for drugs for the most part. Drugs. Like I got caught with some drugs. Just where I hang out at, just hanging out, and the police came, locked me up, went to jail, went to prison. I didn't do long. That's what it was. I didn't do a long time. I went to jail. Might have stayed in prison for like a little over a year. Got right back out. I went right back to the same thing. It's like I came home and like this is what people's giving me. You know what I'm saying? Like when you come home, that's what they give you. You come home, they give you some more drugs and a little bit of money, and I'm going right back out there. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back what I had. I'm trying to start right back off where I was at. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't thinking forward. It was about, okay, then I'm gonna start from where I left off at.
Hold on. You can't move so fast. You said you weren't thinking forward.
That's right.
You were thinking backwards.
Okay, I'm thinking the day I got locked up, I'm going back to that. It didn't work for him. Yeah. That's how I used to think. At that time. And I mean, that I'm like at that time, I'm like 18 years old. You know what I mean? So, what was it like for an 18-year-old in prison? I mean, like I've been in the streets, so I know a lot of people. So, and I mean, for some reason, I've always been a likable guy. I don't know what it was. You know, I don't know, but I always been a likable guy. When I went to prison, I know a lot of people, so I didn't have to worry about like the prison issues. I go in, it's kind of like I saw it's a movie one time. It's a movie they got out, but when I went in, it's like people ask you like, where you from? Like, hey man, where you from? Oh, I'm from over here. Oh yeah, okay. You're right. Yeah. So then they'll look and see if
who you're moving with.
Yeah, and then he with them. Oh, okay, then we not. Then they see how they treat me. Right. You know how they respect me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I ain't have no problem with none whatsoever. I mean, you see, I'm not even from Kentucky. You know, like that. Yeah.
Yes, people are really drawn to you. People are really some of the guys that had some of the worst records would come to you for advice and would come to you. I'm thinking about our friend that we started the Bible studies with.
Yeah.
That guy was by his own admission, he said that he didn't feel anything. He didn't know how to feel anything.
Yeah.
Except he would come to you for the word.
Always, he would come to me for advice. He would come to me for the word because he know I'm authentic. Like I don't have a reason to be fake about nothing. See, like I don't have a reason to be that way. You know, so I'm just gonna be me. I can't be nobody else. Yeah.
All right. So you got caught. You're in prison. You're doing good time. You get out. You go right back to that life, and you're working backwards.
Yeah.
You get caught again. You go to prison. You get out. You go right back to that life, and that cycle continues. Why is it that cycle continues? Why is it that so many guys are going into prison, come out, and going right back in and out?
It's identity. They identify themselves with that. Without that, they don't think they can be who they are. They don't know who they are. They have to find out who they are on the inside. You know what I mean? They don't know who they are. So it's the people. It ain't really the people they're around. It's the things that they do. They are defined by the things that they do. If anything outside of that, they lose their identity. You know what I mean? Yeah, their identity is attached to the streets. Their identity is attached to it's a character. It's really a character. You know what I'm saying? The role that they playing on the streets, because they just playing the role. Yeah, for a certain amount of time. I mean, and most people, not all, but most find themselves there. Most people do. It might take them a few times to go through that. You know what I'm saying? But they end up figuring out, like, man, I don't care I don't care about somebody telling me that, I done became a Christian, or I done became a Muslim, or I don't do this no more, and I don't do that no more. You know what I mean? I mean, once you get more confident in yourself, you know what I'm saying, then you don't really need that no more.
Yeah, I met several guys when I was chaplain who, like you said, identified that was their identity. That's their identity. And when I said to them, when you get out, what you're gonna do? Some of them would tell me straight up, a chap, man. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm going right back to it, man.
Right.
And that's because they don't know anything else.
They don't know anything else, and they don't think it's not cool to know anything else. Yeah. That's what that is, And
you'd be destroying their self-identity, should you?
Yeah, and they can't handle the scrutiny. That attacks their ego. It attacks their ego when people talk, different about them. Yeah, it attacks their ego. So
they're not hard. They're not real. They're not.
Right. They feel like all of that comes with being, even if some of them say, well, I'll get out and I'm going to get a job, but I'm still going to do my thing on the side.
Right. Yes, I met many guys like that. Yeah.
So they still try to hold on to that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
When and Kamala, just jump in whenever time you're ready. Now Jennifer says.
Actually, had a question.
You want me to take Jennifer first, or are you gonna go first?
No, go ahead.
Jennifer says, "Is it that you had stayed connected with your former friends that helped to push you back to prison each time?"
Yeah, I can say that. I can say being in touch with my former friends did, but at the same time, like it was never pressure for me to do anything. It was always my choice. You know what I mean? I wasn't never pressured to do anything, but it was always my choice. They made it. Actually, my friends made it easier for me to go because that's what I'm familiar with.
Right.
That's what I was.
And they would give you the drugs and the money to give you a little start when you go. Right. Good question, Jen. Go ahead, Kamala.
I was actually thinking, it was more of a comment than it is a question. That what you said a little while back was so important, that when something becomes a part of your identity, that's all you see yourself as. So even if you kind of come with even if you say that you're making a different decision, because you still have that identity, this is who I am, it becomes really hard to do something different, because now the question becomes, who am I? you know
Mm.
and what place do I have in the world? So I don't know, just hearing you talk, I'm thinking about, there might be somebody out there who's listening who can really relate to that idea of, gosh, I have this identity that I've carried with me for such a long time, but I don't have to have that identity. I can
And mommy,
change my course. I can do something different and be something different.
And mommy, we're talking to Tony as it relates to prison, but what about church people? What about
Absolutely.
money? People who are associated with with making money. What about education? What about
Yeah.
you know addicts? That we identify with all different kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And that's
We
exactly why I said I liked how we talked about identity, because that's something everybody can relate to. That's not just a one story, that can be across the board. Absolutely.
And the thing that keeps coming back to my mind, Tony, is your whole point of you would go back.
Yeah.
You would go backward. And I just think that I think there's some deliverance in that for somebody tonight. All right. So Tony, you're back in prison now. When do you, and I asked you to bring your notebook with you. So where is it at? Because I want you to read some stuff from there. When do you now finally say, all right, this is not for me. I want to start to come back in here beside me, Tony, so that let me take Jennifer's question real quick. Would you say that leaving prison, that a new environment and relationship will make a difference? So when people leave prison, would you say that if they move to a different place completely, would that make a difference for them?
I mean, they have what they call it a geographical change. And wherever I go, there I am. You know what I mean? So it might slow me down a little bit, because like I moved from Savannah, Georgia to Lexington, Kentucky, and I ended up in prison here for selling drugs. You know what I mean? So I've got around. I don't know. I didn't know anybody up here, just my uncle. So it was just I think.
And your uncle was a basketball coach.
Yeah, well, he's a player. My uncle played basketball.
Your uncle was a basketball player here.
So I mean, it was. I saw opportunity, and then I maneuvered in, and then.
And I don't know if y'all listening, but this man's dropping some money. You heard him? This man said, "Wherever I go, I am.
I am there.
The person you can't run from, and that's you. Wherever I go, I am." And so what Tony said is that a geographical location will slow down the criminal-minded person. It will slow them down. But it's just a matter of time before they get connected.
And I think what I'm hearing him say too is that, and Tony, you tell me if I'm right or wrong, that what I hear you saying is I can change my location, but if I don't change my idea of who I am, then I'm going to end up in the same places.
Right. Exactly.
So that's where I want to go now, is to ask you, when did you start realizing who you are?
Speaking of friends, I came home from prison, and all of my friends was locked up. They all was in prison, and one of my friends had died. So I was out there by myself, and I just felt alone. I felt alone. You know what I mean? Like, and I just realized, like, man, you know what? I don't want to do this no more, because it didn't feel the same. Like, it just didn't feel the same. I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. So then I started gradually just, reading the Bible and things like that. That was a long process too, but you know what I'm saying? Here I am. But as far as my identity, like, I identify myself with the streets and the things I did, but I've always authentically been me. Yeah, like I've always been me. Yeah.
But I want for you to go back now to, you because you told me this story while we were there. You got out and you cleaned up yourself, you cleaned up your life.
Yeah.
And what happened? What happened to you?
Yeah, I got out. That's okay. I moved to Lexington. I got out of prison in Georgia. I moved to Lexington. My uncle's like, man, you just getting locked up. Come up here. I played basketball for UK. You can use my name in Lexington as a reference, and you'll get any job you want. Just tell them I'm your uncle. Okay, then I move up here. I get me a job. I meet a girl. I get married. I'm working, and everything's okay. I mean, so we started a family and everything's okay. But it's drugs. I got a job and like I would smoke weed, you know what I'm saying? Like I would smoke weed and people on the job would smoke weed. So, I kind of figured out like, okay, they smoke weed and I'm the guy who I was buying weed from, like, well, I can just sell weed on the job. So first I was just like, I sell a little, sell a little marijuana on the job, and that was it. You know what I mean? I said, well, I'll just keep it like this, and then another opportunity came. It moved from marijuana to cocaine, and then from there I quit I started making a little money. I bought me some cars. I quit my job, and everything.
But something led to that though.
The lead to that. Oh, you talking about? Oh,
yeah.
That was after that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the beginning of it. That was the beginning of the end of that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because like when I got married, we dealt with that for about 7 to 8 more years. Me and her going back and forth about what I was doing.
Right.
Till it eventually just broke us apart. Right. And then I was going on this downward spiral. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, so you got married, then you got back involved with drugs.
Yeah.
And then that put a wedge between you all.
Yeah.
And then but then once you lost her, then that just sent you right over the edge.
Yeah, it sent me over the edge because this is exactly what happened. I went back again. I went back to what I was familiar with. I went back because the life I had built, I was used to that. So when it fell apart, I didn't know where to go from there. The only thing I did know was to go back.
The streets.
I went back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the way in like I was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went all the way back in.
Mm-hmm. Mommy, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. We're talking to Tony. We're having a good conversation. Tony says, wherever you go, you're there. Let's take a quick break. Welcome back. We're so excited that you could join us. We're so excited that you could be here with us. All right, so T, now you go right back to this life, but you're back in prison.
Right.
And now what has transpired that you decided now that you want to change your life completely?
I mean, really, it's got to be God. That's really what it is. It's just because the person who, like, I've always been how I am, like talking. I've always been that way. But as time went on, speaking of friends, we're gonna go back to that. While in prison, I got with a group of guys in prison, and that's kind of like what we was on, just positivity. Mm-hmm. It was all about positivity. So that's what we would do. We would try to get some of them younger guys and try to keep them out of trouble, try to keep them off drugs, try to keep them off all that other stuff that's going on in prison. You know what I mean? And
you just said drugs going on in prison?
Yeah, drugs in prison. Yeah, everything that's on the streets just about is you can also get it in prison too. So those same temptations are in prison. You have, but like I say, you have guys that they still connected to that identity. You know what I mean? So they're not going. If their friend comes in and say, "Hey man, you wanna do this?" and they, "Nah, I'm cool. Man, you know what I'm saying?" And yeah, so it's drugs in prison.
There's a child out there right now who is thinking about selling drugs. They haven't ventured into it. They haven't started it yet. But they're getting ready to. What would you say to them?
I would say it's a better way. It's a whole nother way to do that. I mean, people sell drugs for a lot of different reasons. You know what I mean? Some people sell drugs to try to get clothes. Some people sell drugs to try to look cool. Some people sell drugs to try to get a girl. You know what I mean? Some people actually start selling drugs with good intentions. You know, but they say the road to destruction is paved with good intentions. You know, so I mean it's a lot of different, but it's a whole nother way you can do that. I mean, at first, what you really need to do is figure out who you are. Yeah, if you some young person out there, you know, I know you're young, you know, but believe me, people gonna have to accept you for who you are. You have to think if you're a child and if you got enough, you know what I mean. I won't say nerve to get out there and sell drugs.
Yeah, I've always said what you're about to say. Go ahead.
If you got enough nerve to get out there and sell drugs, then
you can do some other stuff.
You can do some other stuff.
If you can sell drugs, which include because selling drugs is not just selling drugs.
Right.
It's looking over your shoulder.
Yes.
It's maintaining a corner.
Right.
It's maintaining a customer. You have to be nice to people because if you're not nice to people, they're not going to come back to you.
Right.
You got to be smart so that you don't get robbed.
Right.
You got to be able to responsible so you can turn in your money to whoever you're turning it into.
Right.
If you can do that, you can do some other stuff.
Yeah. Yes. What I can say about drugs is, like I told you the other day, it's the product, right? You believe in the product and you get out here and you sell it. I mean, but if you switch the product to going there and clocking in on this job or going over here and cutting grass or washing cars, I mean, you'll get the same, you know what I mean? You'll get the same effect.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So Jennifer said, at first, while you were in prison, was there ever a time that you felt that your present life was not the one you wanted to live and you decided enough was enough?
Oh, yes, I did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I decided that's not the life that I wanted. Yeah, and I wanted something different. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk some more. About it. All right. So now, T, let's do some more work. Kamala, I want you to help us here. The process now of learning who we are, because what T is saying is the thing that has gotten so many young people caught up in this mess is a lack of identity. And so, what's the process? How do we get young people to learn who they are? Talk to me, Kamala.
I think it differs dependent on what stage of your life you're in. If you're a young kid looking forward, figuring out who you are has a lot to do with what are the possibilities that exist for me and what can I see happening in my life. And a lot of times that can be really, like Tony said earlier, kind of shaped by the people that are around you. So as a young person looking forward, I would say that figuring out my identity has to start with what do I want my future to look like? Who do I need around me to get there? And that way you make decisions about where your journey takes you.
How important it is for parents to speak life into their children.
Extremely important. I would say that it's even more so than the younger a child is, because as kids get old, they start looking external for the advice and the validation and the support and everything else, right? And so parents play a crucial role, not just guardians, family members, people who are, they play a crucial role. What you say, how you say it, what you sow into somebody's life. That's what one way you could say it. How you talk to a child really can determine they see themselves and what they are capable of. So for instance, you hear the example of you're going to be no good like so and so, right? That's something that a lot of kids grow up hearing. And so what does that child eventually what opinion of themselves does that child eventually form? Well, I'm going to be no good. So since I'm going to be no good, why bother do anything else than be no good, right? And so we have opportunities as adults, as we interact with the younger crowd, to sow good seeds into those lives. Now, if you're talking about, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, now, if you're talking about somebody who is older now and has lived some life and is trying to figure out, well, who am I? Well, no, it's kind of like what Tony talked about earlier. It's a matter of, let me reflect on where I've been. Is that where I still want to continue to be? And if it's not, what do I need to do differently? Because the truth is, and I think it's sometimes easy for people to talk about this kind of stuff. It's not easy to do. I think we have to acknowledge that. But as an adult looking back who's trying to determine who I am, to be able to do that reflection and then say, okay, what am I going to do different? Also has to come with acknowledging that this is going to take some work. And this is going to take me recognizing that I have, just like Tony talked about, I've got some patterns that I typically fall back into that are really comfortable for me. Mm-hmm. And they are really comfortable for me for lots of reasons. They make sense, or they're in kind of an easy route to go. It's familiar. It feels safe, and I'm using air quotes for it feels safe, because sometimes a thing that feels safe is not always the safest. It's just what I know. And so being able to reflect and say, okay, this is no longer serving me well anymore. It's not getting me anywhere. And so now I've got to look at what gets me somewhere different and what do I need to get there. And not that it's hard work.
Let me quickly tell you who you are, in case you're out there wondering. You're a child of God. Amen. Let me say that again. You're a child of God, created in the image of God. That means you're beautiful. That means you're holy. That means you're great. That means you're creative, you're powerful. That's who you are. You're a child of God, created in the image of God, to live for the glory of God. That's who you are. The process of identifying who you are becomes the burden or the responsibility, not the burden, the responsibility of parents. But now, Kamala, for people that come from broken home like Tony, or for people that were abandoned like me, what is the imperative? What's the importance of the whole idea of it takes a village to raise a child? What's the importance there?
Because we have bought a lie for a long time that says that we're all supposed to be independent, self-sufficient human beings. And it's just not true. Life doesn't work that way. Life has never worked that way. From the moment we came into the world until the day we go out, we're never alone. But because we've bought this idea that we're supposed to go it alone, sometimes we are the ones that disconnect ourselves from people and resources or good, because we've told ourselves, I can't be a functioning adult if I'm not doing this on my own, or people are going to look at me differently if I don't do this on my own. It is absolutely okay as adults together to be able to say, I can't do this by myself. I need, whether it's someone, something, etc.
And so children, so all of us have a responsibility to speak life into children.
Yeah.
All of us have a responsibility to speak hope into children, and not just our children. Go ahead.
I was going to say all of us have a responsibility to speak life into people.
Right.
We focus a lot on kids, but we have a responsibility to speak life into each of us, because all of us have stuff that we have been through. All of us struggle in some way, shape, or form with who we are, what we want to be, how we're going to get there, and feeling like we can. And there's nobody who doesn't benefit from hearing that from somebody else.
Wow. That's good stuff, Mama. That's good stuff. So Tony, I want to now go to the prison system, and I want for us to just bust it wide open and the evils that happen in there. What makes the system so evil? Is it about corrections? Is it about reform? Or what is it? What is the prison system about?
I mean, it's not about rehabilitation. It's all about being punitive. It's about punishment. You know what I mean? That's really what they want to do. I mean, you know, I would always say, I came to prison as punishment, not to be punished. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. They try to make it. They don't really. I mean, they offer you classes, you know, but I don't know, like if it's money involved or whatever. They offer you classes, and then you can get in there and like it's certain things, like it's a general thing. So some of it might apply to you, and some of it might not. You know, so you get in there, people get in there and do the work, and like everybody's walking around with, like if I graduate the class, I'll give you my book when you get in the class. So you just copy my answers down in your book. You know, you just change the names, and you know that's the type of stuff that they do. Yeah, but they're not. I mean, when you think of correctional officers, the first word is correction.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. No, they're not trying to help at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the ones that try to help, they're called soft. And
yeah, the ones that try to help, they weed them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they weed them type of people out. They'll say, you know, they like you said, they too soft, or they talking to inmates too much. Why you talk to them all the time like that? Well, I mean, you know, it's hard. I mean, you said it in the car. It's hard for a person to be around somebody and eventually not treat them like a person.
Mm-hmm.
How could you do that?
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I mean, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? You got like maybe 70% of the officers is, you know, like bad, and you might have 30% of them that's good.
You know, criminals watching criminals. Jennifer says, when I listen to Tony's story, I recognize the awesome power of God in changing the vilest of sinner. As we sometimes think of
persons who do these things. Tony, you are a miracle.
You are a miracle. Amen. And thank God for new life. Talking about a miracle and thanking God for new life. So now we get a chance to work together on creation life. How did creation life impact your life?
It put it into perspective. You know, it the things that's, I mean, I kind of knew already, but when it was put in front of me, I was like, oh, this is it right here. Yeah, this is it. This is exactly. This is not just. It's not just a course or anything like that. It's really like a life journey.
And you wrote me that letter. You wrote me that in a letter, and you said, "Wait a minute, this is not a course. This is life. This is a lifestyle." Yeah. That's what you wrote me.
Yeah.
And so you creation life has taught you not to go back.
Not to go back. Right.
But to go forward.
To go forward.
So coming out of prison this time, you're not trying to pick up from where you left off.
No. It's all new. Everything is new. It's all about looking forward. That's all I'm doing is looking forward.
So on our way, when we picked you up from prison and we picked you up, you know, you said we're gonna hit the road running.
Yeah.
And so we said before the end of the day, you wanted to be what?
Baptized.
Why?
I mean, because Because it's real, you know. Like I don't want to, like, I'm not going backwards. It's all about going forward. You know what I'm saying? Going forward. This is my new beginning. This is the new beginning. This is being born again. You know what I mean? This is that born again experience.
You said to me, "I'll come on this journey with you."
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
I mean, it's definitely a journey for me because this is all this is new to me. It's all new to me. You know what I mean? It's all new to me. So, I mean, I'm learning. You know, I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching you. I'm watching her. I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching Annika. I'm watching Kamala. You know what I mean? I'm taking it all. I'm listening to what y'all saying. You know what I mean? I'm seeing what's going on around here, and I'm just, you know, I'm thinking it's not just about. I mean, being that I'm in this circle right here. You know what I mean? It's like it's not about just my moving forward. It's about all of us moving forward.
Yeah.
Not just. I mean, even that.
Just so you know, you're bringing tears to my eyes. Oh my goodness, Pastor Kambizi, welcome, sir. Thank you so very much for being here, Pastor. Man, I wish we could send. Can we send Pastor Kambizi a link so he can jump in here real quick? Is there any way for us to send him a link? Pastor, could you what do you need? Pastor Kambizi, can you put up your email address, please? Anna K is going to send you a link so you can just jump in here for a quick second. If it's even at the end, to just have a word of prayer for us. All right. So, Miss Orange, Margaret says, amen and amen. Keep up the good work. We're greatly blessed watching from the remote village of Kishi, Kenya, Africa. Pastor Bernard Omayo, together with 35 orphans under the care. Please do lift us up in prayer. Thank you so very much. Okay, thanks, Simon. Thank you so very much for watching with us. We're so grateful. We're very grateful for you. All right, so you're not going backward. You're going forward. So we want to work together, right? And so you're joining the KWMinistries team. And you're joining the KWMinistries team as our creation life director. What does that mean to you?
It means, I mean, it's an opportunity for me to take what I have and give it to other people. You know what I mean? To help other people. I mean, it's all about service. You know, I just want to serve other people. And I mean, it's something that I've come to enjoy. Like I've come to enjoy helping people. So, and that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as you were in prison and we were writing to you, you were talking to the other guys about this stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to all the other guys about it. You know, I bring it out. But they always knock on my door anyway, you know. So, yeah, they come get it from me. I got it for them.
All right. Let me ask you something, because I want to talk to us now about how we treat people that come out of prison. Something happened. We along Mr. Julius Dwayne Johnson of the Rescue Mission, and I want to tell him thanks so much. We decided that you needed to deflate a little bit. You needed to, just breathe a little bit. Right. So we, gave you a week in a hotel by yourself, so you could just, just relax. Yeah. So you don't have to be in the carry. And so we went there. And what happened when we met this lady?
Oh, she was, well, she couldn't take my ID, the identification that they gave. She said I couldn't use it because, I mean, it was their policy that she couldn't use. Like, this is not an ID. This is what they gave me for identification. You know, so.
How did that make you feel?
I mean, honestly, like, I really didn't feel too much, but it was like, well, it's part of, like I said, I've been in and out before. I mean, that's part of that. You know what I mean? Like,
so, but how would that make a younger person feel coming out of prison?
It would discourage. Yeah, it would discourage. Yeah, they'd be discouraged. Like, it's hard some people that come out of prison and not have a prison mentality. You come home and you're aggressive. You know what I mean? With that, you know what I mean? Being that he's free too, he would have went somewhere else with it. Yeah.
And so sometimes we send people back to prison.
Yeah.
The carelessness of how we talk to people, of how we treat people, of our lack of empathy, of our lack of. I was talking to the vice president of the Jamaican Union at 3:00 this morning, and as we talked about you, and he prayed for you, and he said that after a person has done their time, we need to release them. We as society need to let them go. What can you say to people out there that are listening that just don't know? Tell me, who are you, Tony? Who are you? Who are you? To tell people who you are, and then tell. I want to talk about Dre.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Brian.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the different guys. Tell us who these people are.
I mean, they're regular people. I mean, they are between about them guys. They like, I don't know, man. They need help. They need help.
We need help, but we're people.
Yeah, but we're people. Yeah, you can't forget that they're people. You know what I mean? Like they want to do better, but they just caught up in the cycle. That's all that is.
But at the core of who we are is we are people.
Right. That's it.
Wanting to be loved.
Right.
Wanting to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to live. We're people. All of us are people. And Kamala said, we have a responsibility to speak life into each other. As usual, the night's gone. It's 8:52. We would like to invite you to go over to www.KWMinistries.net. You don't have to worry about it. You won't miss a thing. We're on over there anyway, so you can go over there. We're live in the store. Please go and pick up Ariana's. Let's run that ad, Anne. Let's pick up Ariana's brand new book. We did an interview with my baby today. We were trying to show it, but we weren't able to show it. But Ariana wrote a brand new book, My Journey to Healing, Reaching Children with a Desperate Cry. If you have a child or know somebody with a child, 8 years old to 13, 14 years old, that's struggling with identity issues, that's struggling with a diagnosis, that's struggling to fit in, that's afraid of life, that's afraid of growing up, and you've been talking to this person, and try Ari. Head over to www.KWMinistries.net and allow your child or your nephew or your niece to hear from their own peer group, from another child. That might really change their perspective on life. Ari's book, My Journey to Healing, Reaching Children with a Desperate Cry. We asked her to write. And when we asked her to write, we were prepared that Kamala was going to go in and manipulate stuff and move stuff around and change stuff. And when Kamala got the product, Kamala told me, I'm finished. I said, what do you mean by you're finished? Kamala said, I didn't need to do anything to it. I said, what do you mean by you didn't need to do anything to it? And then I read it. And I'm like, oh, wow, I wish I had something like this to read as a child. So please go over to www.kwministries.net and pick up My Journey to Healing, Reaching Children with a Desperate Cry. Well, I don't remember the percentage, Annika, but a percentage of it, a percentage of the profit, 20%? 20% of the profit goes to the study of Crohn's disease, and 20% of the profit will go to our orphanage in Uganda. Listen, man, Tony, thank you so much for hanging with us tonight.
Oh, no, thank you.
Thanks for your vulnerability.
Yes.
Tony is currently working on getting ready to launch his Creation Life classes, where he is going to, from his story, from his journey, from his life, he's going to be teaching how to apply these principles to our lives. Look out for it. Register for it. Oh, you're going to have to pay for it, yeah. Register for it. And let's have a wonderful time. Kamala, you want to have the last word?
Sure. I was actually thinking that, gosh, this was just such a great treat. And again, thank you, Tony, for just opening up with us and kind of just talking us through this, because you're not alone, right? There's so many people who have a lot to gain from not just hearing your experience, but also just in terms of thinking about their lives in terms of who do they want to be. And so I also want to encourage, for those of you, I don't know if you mentioned this earlier before I came into the studio, but if you're looking to kind of figure out who you are in God's image, one of the other things that you really don't want to leave our website without checking out and registering for is our upcoming seminar in March, Reaching Women with a Desperate Cry. That is our 8-week course that really helps women, especially, to find out who they are in God's image. And that's something that's desperately needed. We all need to know who we are. And what better way to figure out who we are than how God sees us? I think that's a great place to start. This has been a great treat tonight. As always, love being on Monday Night Live. We always have some great people on. Tony, you have not disappointed. We are so glad that we were able to have you on tonight. Absolutely. All right, that's it from my end.
Tell Anna Kay Fagan, thank you so much for your hard work. Jennifer says, thank you, Tony. I want to say this before I go about Anna Kay. Kamala, Tony, we were driving with Tony, and Tony said, wait a minute. If it wasn't for Anna Kay, all of this would fall apart. It didn't take him long.
You better believe that.
It didn't take him long to figure out how this thing works. So we're grateful to you, Anna Kay. Thank you so very much. I don't know if you want to jump in here and say anything real quick. He said no. All right, everybody. We love you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Take care. You will see it. It's not there yet, but Tony's class is coming up, and you'll be able to register for it, and you're going to learn so much. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. Jennifer, thank you so much. I think Pastor Campisi just pushed his head in and then left. Thank you so much. Margaret, thank you so much. Mr. Molly, thank you so very much. All of you who came on tonight, those of you who didn't comment, we still want to say thank you so very much for hanging out with us tonight. May God bless all of you.